Okay, so I'm Grasswalker. Hello and welcome to Game 2 of the Grand Finals of the Dota 2 2022 Bot Masters. We've got the same two teams, Sirius AI and a Beginner AI. We're switching the sides as we always do. This is a best of 5 and a Beginner AI is one game up. If you've randomly joined in on Game 2, get out of here, go watch Game 1. Or maybe before that, watch the upper bracket finals when these teams faced off for the first time. We'll start the draft up now. Immediately, a Viper picked up for Beginner AI, and that's a good sign because Viper is a crushing hero in the hand of bots. Skyrath's a little bit of almost like a cheat hero as well because the bots can have instant reaction. Like the second you show, he can silence you. We saw that where in the previous game actually, where a Doom would blink in on a Drow Ranger and just get gusted instantly. What else we got? A Kunkka and Axe. Oracle I do not like. We have not seen Oracle perform well in any game we've seen it, to be honest. I do not like the Oracle pick whatsoever for Beginner AI. We'll see if it works out for them. Let's have a look at these lanes. See where people start running. Very peaceful, usually, both of these teams before the lanes begin. But Warlock and Kunkka as an off-lane duo for the Dire side. I'm there for that. That's a decent lane. Axe Oracle as your safe lane. I think that's game-losingly bad. I mean, Oracle is a 5, don't get me wrong, but a 1-position Axe, I don't like it at all. Viper mid, classic, tried, tested, and true. Can't go wrong with that hero in that role. The other side of things, we've got Wraith King, Dragon Knights. We've got 2 melee core heroes. I mean, I've seen Wraith King played as a 5, but it's never good. And I've seen Dragon King played as a 5, but it's like when you're in a ranked roles game and someone loads in and they don't realize what their role is and they just snap pick DK because they've been spamming it mid, and then you have to tell them in the game chat like, dude, why have you picked Dragon Knight? You're the mid. You're not the mid, you have 5 pos. And he's like, oh shit, I thought I was mid. And then he's like, it's alright, I could do it. And he tries to 5 pos with Dragon Knight and it just doesn't work. You got offlane Ogre Ursa, which I think is okay. I don't think it's perfect, but I think of all the weird offlane duos I've seen from bots, I think it's somewhere on the curve. Like, it's just in the middle area. There's nothing that bad about it. There's nothing that good about it. I've seen Ursa played 3. I've seen Ogre played 4 plenty. I've even seen Ogre played 3. He's got a Quelling played, to be fair to him. But I think we've got a little bit of awkwardness from both teams, to be honest. I don't think anyone is happy with these lanes. I'm definitely. Skyrath trying to get off to a good start, but it's 1 apiece so far. Viper has 2 melee creeps he can try and get if he fancies it. Gets a cheeky deny. It's a last hit as well. This is that sort of Viper advantage. You watch build up. 3 and 1 to the 2 and 0. He's got extra creeps on the map. Doing a little bit of damage to the Sky. Sky is holding his own, to be fair to him. Cheekily getting a couple denies here. Lane's a lot more even than I feel like it should be. Sky, of course, taking 4 to 3 CS, slightly ahead just for now. Viper should be able to get ahead if he can just last hit this range creep. Doesn't manage. Take a look at some of the other lanes. We've got Wraith King, Dragon Knight. I don't see either of these heroes dying. Warlock not known for his damage. Kunkka not known that much for his like laning damage. Laning harassment, yes. Like laning burst to kill people, not so much. Oracle Axe pushing the lane very heavily. We've got a triple range creep. Ogre taking a lot of damage here. Yeah, a little bit awkward for him. Like they might miss all of these ranged creeps. Ezreal get the XP, but nothing else. That can feel quite bad in a lane. Again, to the tier 2s by all these creeps. Not last hitting any of them, really. Ogre gets one. Ursa yet to CS a creep, so we're looking at 3 Ogre. I'm not sure how I feel about that lane. We'll look away to the other tragic lane. No. Warlock actually taking a little bit of CS. Him and the Kunkka also on even. So both Sirius AI and beginner AI are willing to let their 3s and 4s farm almost evenly. As we watch First Blood on the Oracle. That'll help the Ursa get into his game.
My claws are red with the
1 CS, 1 kill. Thinking about chasing down on the axe. Stun's there. I don't think they can kill him. They can force him quite far back. Ursa's willing to die, but doesn't commit to the punch. Takes 2 tower shots for his trouble. Wraith King forced. Go check the rune. Leave the Dragon Knight in lane. He's got that Dragon's Blood. 4 armor, 4 health regen. It's almost like having a tango. With 2 points in Dragon's Blood, it's a perma tango. Feels good, man. Viper getting outlaned by this Skywrath. That's a problem. For the dire side. For beginner AI, they don't want to pick a Viper to then lose the lane. P-wise 4.5. I saw Viper had ran away. Also 4.5 really. I able to throw out that arcane bolt on the range creep, secure every single one of them so far. This is a couple of the melee creep CS's. Manages to tag that one. Viper just struggling really to get a hold on the game. No, he's not really able to force that Skywrath out of the lane to really be that domineering presence you expect from a Viper. And now we see the point where Sky has reached level 5. Viper's still was just boorish. Ursa dies. Oracle with the burst. I do remember seeing actually a game where Oracle was just running around bursting heroes down as almost like a nuke hero. But I also feel like I've seen 2 or 3 games where the Oracle was almost griefing in how little they did. We're seeing Ursa TP back top.
That be ours.
Gotta trust in my voice now that it's not gonna collapse on me in the course of this best of 5. I can feel it leaving me. 5 minutes in, nothing much has happened. Ursa's got a kill and Ursa's died. Other than that, no action on the map. Very passive, calm lanes. Dire seems to be getting the best of them. Got your Viper Sky at roughly even though that's not what you want. Axe is quite far ahead in his lane. Who is texting me? Get out of here. Axe is quite far ahead in his lane. Kunkka seems to have broken even. However, in that Kunkka lane, the Warlock has also farmed. Kunkka 13, Wraith King 11, Dragon Knight 10, Warlock 9. I guess that's closer to an even lane than it looks, especially as they grab up 3 or 4 more CS here right now. 4 more CS added to the... I guess this Radiant safe lane is an even break. Invisibility! Which means the only differential lane is your Axe with 20 CS to your Ogre with 12. Oh, but then your evening factor is the Ursa 6-1. So I guess it's even across the whole map. You look at the graph, it says that it's within 100 gold. So if the gold is even, then you have to think about team composition, play style, timings, that kind of thing. I think if you're an Axe and you haven't dominated your lane, that's not great. If you're a Viper and you haven't dominated your lane, that's not great. If you're laning normal heroes against Wraith King Dragon Knight and you haven't won your lane, I think that's quite bad. So it looks to me as though beginner AI should have done better in their lanes than they have, because you've got this Axe, he's going to transition into the mid game, but I don't think he's going to matter 25-30 minutes. He needs this mid game 10 to 25 timing to become and remain huge. Do pick off that ogre. I'm going to count that, even though we missed 90% of the kill, I'm going to count that. He was on the screen when he died. I wonder if the automatic camera software would be better than mine. As we watch two heroes jump now onto the Kunkka. Skeletons have been spawned. Kunkka runs back in, what are you doing? Torrent catches two. That's a little bit awkward for him. They're both fatal bonds. Fatal bonds. We missed the kill. We watch a fight on one lane, miss the kill in another. Skywrath does get picked off. Presumably the Viper strike making the difference there. And now it might start feeling like the Viper's won his lane. 600 gold ahead. Axe jumping in on the ogre, not letting him farm, he's low. Ooh, the Oracle picks him off with that last little bit of burst damage. And now what was looking like very clean even lanes is beginning to start looking quite tragic for the Radiant side. Kill mid, a kill top. They're even thinking of chasing this. Level 5 he's got. Oh wow, Ursa forced to TP. Maybe it's a huge misplay, but I think if I'm Ursa, I man up there. I'm like, you're under the tower, you're under my creep wave, I know you're an Axe and you'll spin, but I think it's man up time. Viper get a little bit stuck on the staircase. We haven't really seen too much of this. We also haven't seen too much of Kunkka dying in the bottom lane. Oh no. Classic Grasswalker casting. Miss all of the action, narrate all of the ambience. This Skywrath's chilling a lot lower than he should feel comfortable. Full level difference between the Viper and the Sky. He misses the ult, but he walks back into it. That doesn't bode well for future team fights. If Sky puts down an ult, misses, but people voluntarily walk into it, that could be quite a tragic thing. Have a look at the last hit counter, just as we reach the 10-minute mark. See where people are at. Viper thinking of manning up on this guy. He just needs to flick that Viper strike, and he has him dead to rights. Meanwhile, Axe jump, call, burst, caught that one. Meanwhile, stun on the Warlock. Wraith King right-clicking in. Doesn't have mana for his own stun though. Also doesn't have mana for his ult. The wand, it comes up in 3 seconds, but that's not enough. 4 charges times 15 mana. That's 60 mana, 128. No, I don't think he would have had enough for the reincarnation even with a wand pop. The CS as the laning stage ends. Viper Axe on top, followed quite closely by Sky Wraith King as we see the ignite from the Ogre Magi begin slowing down the Axe so that Ursa can right click him, one more bonk, and he is dead. That's a nice little comeback kill for this offlane. Meanwhile, 3 heroes of the Dire side pushing the Radiant tier 1. They want this mid tower and I think they've got it. I don't think there's anything they can do to stop this. Only people on the map that are not farmed are Ursa and Oracle. Although Ursa has some kills, so the network noise at the bottom. This is a deep dive. Skyle onto 3. Oracle pops the ultimate. Sky is getting lower and lower. He will die. Viper still right clicking out. Torrent. Boat onto 2. Might make the escape. He body blocks Viper. There's the stun. Couple of right clicks. Ooh, pops the fairy fire. Jukes into the trees. Can't get out though. I was so excited for him. What are you cooking? Boom, says the Wraith King, who was not particularly involved in those kills. I mean, he just wasn't involved in those kills. But he still wants to talk shit mid. Immediately after taking the tier 1 mid, they realise they've got a catapult in this Radiant safe lane as well. And this is that axe timing. Between 10 and 25 minutes. Blade mail, presumably on the courier. Well, most of it is. 4 Radiant heroes come. 5 Radiant heroes are here to defend this. Axe lower and lower. Couple more. Ooh, they give the Warlock as a sacrifice instead. Anchor awkwardly found here. Sirius was willing to bring 5 heroes. And it's a similar story to the first game. Sirius is much more willing to bring 5 heroes, but this time it's just Oracle running around, Viper running around. Last game, they had Deucer farming. And that was their win condition. This time, I'm not sure if they have the late game. And another benefit, imaginably, is that Sirius has no... Oh, the Golem is dropped! Fatal Bonds onto 5. Huge fight out of nowhere. This is going to be a wipe, it looks like. I mean, that's 4 dead. Wraith King, he gets back up on account of his ultimate. They let the Skywrath run a little bit further. X mark onto the Wraith King. Oh, the Viper finds that Sky. And that's 6 kills. Double on the Wraith King. A huge fight. Only 1,400 gold. That's so disappointing. 5-man wipe at 13 minutes. You'd hope for a lot more than just 1,000 gold. They're going to be able to transition it into a tower push with the help of the Golem. 5 heroes right click at a tier 1 will die. What on earth was I talking about? Oh, last game, Dire had this late game Deucer as an option. And that was sort of their guaranteed late game victory, not a facet, like a backup plan. I can't think of the word for it. I need a co-caster, that's what I need. A co-caster with a dictionary. So we watch Dragon Knight stun, locks him in place with Skywrath ult, but the Viper's just right-clicking this whole time, hundreds of damage per clicks. Oracle with the burst damage picks anyone off that gets a little bit too low, and it's a 2 for 3 so far. Oracle willing to pin that Ogre down, but the Viper's a bit too low, wants to TP out. Oracle's soon to be too low. Disarms himself. Viper will TP away and defend the top tower. The word I'm thinking of, it's like having a backup plan that's there. Just sort of looming in the background. Contingency? I think contingency is a good enough word. It's not what I'm looking for, but it's good enough. They had the Medusa contingency. It was in the background, it was waiting there. They felt comfortable going to the late game, but this game, you've got Viper and Axe as your 1 and 2 pos. You need to end this game quick, because those heroes will fall off. Thankfully, Sirius doesn't have any Dragonlance builders, so they're not going to fall off like they did with the Windrunner in the first game. This is going to run for his life. Sort of baiting a couple heroes in. Sirius grabs that stun onto the Axe. Inner AI getting deeper and deeper. Perhaps too deep. The Ignite comes in, it's onto 3. Axe lands a call, but it's only on the Ursa. Boat comes in, pops the Ursa. Now they're chasing. 2 Radiant heroes chasing the Oracle. 2 Dire heroes chasing the 2 Radiant heroes. They've put the damage into the Oracle. She will pop to death. Or they will pop to their death. Wraith King puts in a stun, but gets called. Now it's a little bit awkward for him. Doesn't have his ult. A couple steps too deep. He's dead. 2 Radiant heroes are still here in the mid lane. It's a never-ending fight. We've got non-stop action in this one. A lot more active than the previous game. Axe willing to dive onto this Sky. Sky doesn't feel like a core right now. They feel like a 5 pos getting chased around. X mark breaks that up a little bit. It's the Ogre being chased down by the Viper. Meanwhile, the Sky manages to pop the Axe. We've still got 3 Dire heroes, 3 Radiant heroes in the mid lane. Out comes the Golem. Fatal Bonds onto 3. We've seen this story before, but last time it was onto 5. Chasing down. We've got 2 fast heroes. That dragon form, extra movement speed coming in clutch. But he's not a dragon anymore! He gets caught out. A couple of poison strikes for the Viper, and he's dead too. And the Radiant is just bleeding heroes piece by piece. Beginner AI running circles around them. Double damage on the Warlock. Gonna help him push. Catapult creep, Golem, Viper, double damage Warlock. You might have a tier 2 tower going down at 17 minutes. And this very aggressive, early game centered Dire draft 1 position Axe, 2 position Viper, offlane Kunkka. It's working out for him. Ursa jumps in, but he's already dead. He's not a core this game, he's a 5 boss Ursa. All he has is Morbid Mask phase boots. Holy. A fight recap ignores that 15 heroes died. Viper's just in the Radiant Triangle, right-clicking 3 heroes. He will get punished for this. But he might kill that. He kills the Wraith King's first life! Meanwhile, Oracle getting chased out. Sirius, they're not playing around, but Oracle has the clutch Shadow Amulet, keeps him safe. Boat comes in, lands onto 3, but it's not nearly enough damage. Where's your Warlock? Where's your Fatal Bonds? Where's your Viper right clicks? Without any of that, nobody dies. Looking at the graph, starts cascading down towards beginner AI. Now it's the other way. Pushing a tier 1 is the Radiant side. You've got Dragon Form. You've got 4 heroes. They can take this out, no problem. Axe, he so desperately wants a Blink Dagger right now for that 4-man Seb call. Warlock, he walks in! Shows himself, and that's his death. We've seen this before, the story of beginner AI. Sometimes they walk in 1 by 1 and start to feed. Oracle, he's so deep. Couple of right clicks. Lives long enough to put the Fortune's End onto himself. False promise, sorry. Ursa gets bursted, as he always does in every fight. Viper's not here for this one. He's in the mid lane, but I'm not sure it matters. Culling Blade, but the Axe dies to the Arcane Bolt, and everyone's so low. Kunkka, can he clean up? You've got the cleave on the creep wave. If you just use it quite right, X mark to that Wraith King brings him back, but might get himself stunned. Leave available in 2 seconds. He hasn't quite figured out that you can cleave off the creeps. Oh, but he can, just the other way. The hell was that fight? A 3 for 3 in the end. 3 for 3, but it heavily favours Kunkka. I mean, man got 400 gold from the fight. Free wave, another free wave under the tower. Ogre, Dragon Knight TPing in. That makes it a 3v2 in the top lane until the Axe gets here. Out comes the Golem, Fatal Bonds, Boat, all onto 3. Huge burst. The Ursa, he just dies. Every fight, the Ursa, he just dies. Right clicks onto the Kunkka, but the Sailor's Rum is helping him out. Right click from the Warlock Golem, kills the Dragon Knight, and then tries to push just a little bit, a cheeky little bit. Bloodlust on the tower. Helps it kill the Golem to protect itself. And Dire TP's out. Skywrath misses his ult. That's not a great start to the fight. Oracle's here with a bit of the burst. Axe, BKB nearly finished for that 20-minute peak timing. They've got 3 heroes trapped in a route. Oracle finding some space. Axe tanking the tower. He doesn't mind. He's tanky. 2 Culling Blade, 3 extra armor for him. Woof. If we get a moment in the action to pause, I'd like to look at people's item builds. Atos Shadow Amulet for the Sky, Drums for the Ogre. We've got a fight happening, we're going to have to abandon the items. Viper and Ursa. That's a heavily Viper favoured skirmish right there.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Oh, Kunkka's just sort of running around with his Vanguard. What's he up to? Pushing in mid, trying to stop this catapult wave. That's a huge amount of gold for him. Oh, it's beginning to look rough for Radiant. An 11k gold lead at 21 minutes. Sirius AI. Maybe it's the pressure. The mental pressure of being undefeated in this tournament until now. Or maybe it's the adaptation of beginner AI. We played against Sirius once. The guy who made it patched the bots. And then next thing you know, they're looking unstoppable. Viper dies somewhere, but we're trying to watch whether or not Dragon Knight survives with a TP. He does. The overextended Viper. A little bit of the story we missed. Page skipped in the annals of history. It looks to me like Dire has 5 cores right now. It looks to me like Radiant has 2 cores. Catch the Warlock, with the help of the Glimmer Cape, he just sneaks away. Axe Viper's so far ahead. Sky is on par with the Conqueror and the Warlock. Speaking of the Warlock, he is dead.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Sky's like, I'm not on par with the Warlock, kills him and makes the deficit between them so much larger. Meanwhile, you got a little bit of a skirmish. Oracle versus Sky, both Magic Burst heroes, both want that DD. Not sure if this is going to work too much for the Oracle. Right-clicking with the DD, finds the Sky, bit of vision. That's going to go global, let's follow it. There's a whole fight happening mid, but we're following this. Don't ask me why. Dragon Knight dies in the mid. Ursa gets found. What's he gonna do? He's only got the same items he had at 7 minutes. Phase boots, Morbid Mask, 1400 gold. He runs into the trees, tries to make a getaway. Drums is popped. Dust is popped. Axe is in Skyle. Has to use BKB. That's his first charge of that. That is not how you want to use that first BKB. I mean, it does save his life. It doesn't get him anything. Gets him the opportunity to be alive for this mid push, I suppose. X mark onto the Sky. They bring him back into the Viper Strike. A brutal combination. Ursa's there, but Ursa's not really there. Pops the ult. Broken. Tick down to the poison. Next on the list, Wraith King and Dragon Knight. They lane together, they fight together, they're both in, they're trying to fight on this Axe. His fortune's ended, so he's not going to die. Depends on his regen level and how much damage he's taking. Spins, stuns, Axe will pop. Viper finds himself a little bit too deep with no friends, and the Ogre's there the whole time. And it's a hold for the Radiant side. They managed to protect their base at the cost of Sky and Ursa, but that's fine. I guess the Wraith King reincarnation was popped. Not the end of the world. 2k gold return for them. See this graph start pointing back up towards Sirius. Especially as they push mid now, that's a free tier 1.
Dire structures are fortified.
You can glyph it all you like, but that tower's dead. Dragon Knight level 13, level 2 Elder Dragon form. I'd love to see an Axe from him this game. Get that Black Dragon form. I don't think that any of these 5 heroes would enjoy trying to chase a Black Dragon form across weird terrain. Radiant thinks about a cheeky Roche. 5 heroes collapsed on the pit. You have got Wraith King Ursa. Both very Roche-y heroes? But instead, they dig into the dire jungle, find themselves a Kunkka. Kunkka pops his Crimson Guard, X marks one of the heroes, but he's not going to get very far. And the neutral creep stuns Ogre.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now you've got Dire pushing the top tier 2. It's only the Ursa Sky, and Ursa's the 5 pos, remember. Out comes the Warlock. Fatal Bond's Golem thinks he wants to kill this Ursa. We'll keep an eye on the Ursa health bar. As the Sky takes damage, both die thanks to the Fatal Bonds. A good counter hold with the Dire. I feel like maybe not that good, because it cost you the Warlock Golem. And yes, you got their Sky, who is one of their most important heroes, but it's also just for the Ursa. And I'm not sure the Ursa matters too much this game. Midas Ogre, cheeky.
Is under attack.
The net worth says that Dire has 4 core heroes, but the draft says that Radiant has 4 core heroes. It's just none of them have farm. It's tier 2 tower. It might die to the catapult during this fight. We've got Call onto the Wraith King. BKB pop by Axe. No one can interact with them anymore, but they're all interacting with the Oracle, who they're bursting down. Dragon Knight even pops his form. Oracle's fortune's ended, but he's definitely dead. There's no way any amount of heals could save him from the amount of damage he's been taking. Catch the Axe as well. Long distance Dragon Tail stun. A couple of right clicks, he's dead. Warlock's there, but he has no spells. He already used his Golem. Limicate will help save him though.
Invisibility.
Dire in an awkward place now, because their draft was constructed to peak between 10 and 25 minutes, and it did. Oh boy, did they do good work during that time. Warlock completely fine from Skywrath Mage's burst. Oh my god. He's back to full like 10 seconds later. That's a mid catching a support in the river. He should be dead. He's willing to push the creeps. Good God, they're so far ahead.
Mine.
3 Radiant Heroes want to push tier 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Viper and Oracle not so keen on that push. Oracle will get caught though. A lot of damage onto him and he's dead. No ult available was already used to try and save him. Viper, however... Ooh, Dragonite gets called, so Viper and Axe are going to finish off these 2 heroes. And that they do.
Axe kills you.
I want to be careful though, because this gold lead, it was huge. If you look here, and it's like 14 minutes with a 10k gold lead, 11k gold lead. That's really big. I think the timing is way off though.
All mine.
It's trying to only just tell me that it's showing me 20 there. That can't be true. This graph is lying to me. I don't know how to make it stop lying to me. Wraith King in a very dangerous jungling position. Long twisted myself out of that one. Viper will see a glimpse of him for a second. They've got their eyes set on the prize, this tier 2 tower. Dragonite's going to TP in, think about defending it. Gets the Axe to pop his BKB. That's a huge victory for this Dragonite. And then they man up. Golem comes out. Out comes the Skywrath ult though, and Axe is dead. That's that lack of the BKB. That small play from the Dragonite to force the BKB ends up costing them there. But the Dragonite will pop the Viper. He's just too big. You can outplay the Axe, but you can't outplay this Viper. He's too fat.
Radiant's bottom tower
Break onto the Wraith King. But they're focusing on the Ursa. They know how easily he dies. Realize that the Ursa's TP'd out, and now they want to start focusing this Wraith King. He has Reincarnation, but he's quite far from home. That's about 800 units. Oh, he blinks! But then he runs back in. There's no point blinking out of a place, only to run back in. He will die. They could go for a Rax push with this. They've got a wave here. They've got, not skeletons, those are the Wraith Kings. They've got a Golem. 3 heroes dead. What's an Ursa going to do to stop you from Raxing? Got half the tier 3. Burst comes out onto the Warlock, but he survives it. As we saw in the river, this was foreshadowed. Viper just right-clicking the Skywrath whilst he's failing to kill the Warlock, and that's Sky dead. Doesn't even get the support. And now Viper's a bit too deep. Cores are here. Trades his life for about half of this tower and this Skywrath.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, oh my. Ogre popping out Midas, multicast. Then gets himself really confused.
Let chaos reign.
3 neutral items right there. He just needs to pick them up. It's crazy to see both teams willing to use and farm for neutral items. We've got to jump in on the Kunkka. Crimson Guard will reduce the damage it takes from right clicks, but do they have a stun? They do, it's from the Wraith King. And I think that means that the Kunkka should be dead. Just a couple more right clicks. Oh, out comes the little fireball from the Dragon Knight, revealing that he's got that Ag's Shard. And one thing I'll let you know that fireball is good for is holding the high ground. Dire's got an advantage, but if you don't transition that advantage into a high ground push, what does it matter? Fireball onto the Warlock. Unlike the Sky, I think this Dragon Knight can take him out. Oh, the TP. Turn our attention top, where Ursa jumps in and ooh, gets a kill. Well done by him. Oracle's next on the line. Double kill for the Sky.
I end your life. That something good may begin.
Ursa casually backpacking that terminology. I think he might want Sanjin Yasha, but that is tragic. It's utterly tragic to imagine an Ursa finishing Sanjin Yasha at 40 minutes. Other than the Oracle, who's obviously the support, the 4 Dire cores are all farmed. The only person keeping pace is this Midas Ogre. Sky's not far behind. Dragonite's not too far behind. We've got a burst jump in here now. Five base surviving okay so far. Right clicks down the Ursa. Out comes the Golem. Huge stun. These big team fights into the boat. It's a double kill for the Conquer. Wraith King will get back up, but I'm not sure if he can run his way out of this one, and he probably can't. Tries to armor toggle at the last moment, but does die. That's a free 4-man wipe. Dire has free reign of the map right now. That's a 3.5k swing as well. I think off the back of this, you either Roche or you take this tier 2, or both. Can't push the vulnerable tower because look at this creep wave. Look at where it is. This creep wave's in such a terrible position that I think it might clear out this tier 2. Because the creeps have met just outside tower range. Tower's starting to defend itself now, but you've still got 9 creeps and a catapult. Next wave has spawned, but it's going to waddle itself there in about 10 seconds. Looking at that instead of the fight, so he gets popped. It's not really a fight. I find creep dynamics more interesting than team fights, to be honest. Well, look at the high ground push, that's way more interesting. Wraith King has got no ult. That's a costly death. The run will buff the whole team up, everyone gets caught in that wave. Dragonite puts down the fireball, he's tanky but not quite tanky enough. Even with the blade mail, I'd love to see a glyph. All 5 of these dire heroes would be tanking that tower if there was a glyph, but it doesn't come out. Now comes the glyph, a little bit too late, the fight sort of already over. And we're at that point, 33 minutes of the glyph, it doesn't quite do very much. Especially this Crimson Guard aura. As soon as he turns that on, that, the Vlad's extra armor. In fact, the Axe just has 35 armor. Oh wow, they're fountain diving. They X-mark the Ursa back out of the base. You haven't got a Rax yet. Don't get ahead of yourself, beginner AI. That's a little bit too greedy. Trying to fountain farm this Ursa. Oracle get jumped. Wraith King coming in with the crits. It's taken him a long time to right click though. Axe. Oh, the burst goes onto the Oracle. He's dead. I was going to say Axe puts the battle hunger onto somebody, onto Wraith King. Didn't quite see who he put it onto. Ursa getting growled back to his fountain again. Creeps are willing to push the Rax, if nothing else. Out comes the Golem. No call available. Axe is stunned. Axe is burning. The fireball's cleaning him out. Ooh, Wraith King jumps the backline. Cheeky little go onto this Warlock, and it's a great one except for the Invis. But they have detection. Now it's just BKB Viper to clean up. Ursa's there, but he's not the one pos anymore. He never was. Right clicks coming out. They do hold. Ish.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Costs them. No buybacks, I don't believe, but they do get a decent hold here. Kunkka trying to take the mid-racks. Very cheeky. Stunned, silenced, and slowed. Skywrath willing to chase him. Atosses him to the floor. Just not enough damage to commit. Huge hold. 4k gold. They do lose a Rax, though. Stun! Gets reflected by the Lotus Orb, stuns each other, but that is enough then. Lock him into place for the Sky to arrive to burst the Kunkka and he dies.
Wish fulfilled.
The 4 dire heroes at the top of the net worth. It's look at it go. Statuses.
I see I must resign myself.
Only 2 on the Radiant, no one else. Dragonite with good farm, no one else really getting any farm going.
Gold and
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Creep Wave getting a bit of damage on this Dire tier 2, but it's not going to do much more than a little bit of chip. Ursa might even get himself caught by the Axe here. balls, blade mails, forcing the Ursa to hit himself effectively. The creep wave, but it blocks the axe, it blinks over it, gets the dunk. That's another Culling Blade charge. Man has 37 armor now. Or 31 when somebody left with an armor aura. It's the Wraith Pact on the block. Big items coming up soon. I think we've got Axe's Ags. Kind of bonkers. Calling everybody. Applies Berserker's Battle Hunger to everybody. Battle Hunger with the minus armor. Then you call and you give everyone -7. That's pretty big. Comes the Axe TPing. Golem is dropped. Fatal Bonds is out. I mean, this is a bad fight for the Radiant side. They're just a little bit too deep with not enough heroes. Wraith King does get the blink to the high ground, but he gets caught out by the Axe was rotating on foot. Just 3 more kills for nothing. 3k gold swing against him for that.
Possible futures, are we?
Oh. Well, I'm the Ursa, he should die. He's only a 5 boss, and he does. Oracle confirms that kill. I mean, both the drafts looked a little bit suspect. And I would say that beginner AI didn't win the lanes as much as they needed to. But their mid game was so much stronger. I thought the Oracle would be a joke, but the Oracle has actually been quite fine. Nothing bad about it.
Radiant's middle
Here comes your
tower is
mid-rax
under attack.
push, looking to cement that advantage even more. They've got time for it. 15 heroes before... 15
Radiant's
heroes.
middle tower
15
has
seconds before 4 heroes can respawn and like... Because it's not just the respawn timer, you've got to get out
Radiant
of the
structures
fountain.
are fortified.
3, 4,
Radiant's middle
5,
barracks are under
6,
attack.
7... It does take about 8-9 seconds for Dragonite to get out of that fountain and into the fight. Out comes a boat, it's onto 3, Fatal Bonds is onto 4, the wave comes through, pushes them all back, and they're all dead. The buybacks might help though, got a couple TPs coming in. Another buyback comes out. I mean, at this point it's a rampage for the Axe. He can just keep going if he wants. It's 4 buybacks to the Radiant side, but the Axe is still going in. Fireball comes out, stun onto the Axe. It's non-stop chaos. A 4-man torrent for the Conquer. It's beautiful. The rampage continues. It's a double, triple rampage for the Axe. Go back in there, Axe. Get back in. Never stop diving. Ogre will die to a mix of the creeps and the Oracle. And it's just immediately is over. There is no game anymore. If you buy back 4 heroes and still don't win the fight,
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
there's nothing for it.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Axe with a double rampage. Bonkers. Out comes the Golem, it's already back up. What has this man got? The quickening charm makes that difference there. Wraith King will stand back up, but I don't think it matters. They'll chase him to the fountain. X mark, they don't even need to chase him to the fountain, they'll just chase him back to the X. Oh, they're even going to let him live, potentially. One between kills and the victory. Got some shit talk from the Axe, well deserved. I mean, I said a lot of bad things about this Axe. I said I wasn't keen on it as a 1+. I said if it didn't have a good enough lane, it would have that 10 to 25 minute thing, and I was worried it would fall off, but
Radiant's middle tower
it never
has fallen.
felt like the Axe fell off.
Radiant's
It
Ancient
felt
is
like he
under
could maintain the advantage that he built up, and here's the win. I mean, you got 400 creeps, 16 catapults to the base, everyone's dead, the diebacks are already expended.
Dire victory.
2-0 for beginner AI in this best of 5 so far. That's a big deal. I mean, this is really interesting because I was so worried that this grand finals would just be a Sirius AI crushing and everyone would be like, oh, shit tournament. We already watched the grand finals in the upper bracket final. It was just the same result again. But now it's almost like a total flip of the script. I would say that Dire very slightly won every lane, and I did criticize them. I do remember going on like a 40-second rant that if you pick a Viper and you break even with Skywrath, you haven't really done your job. Because you pick Viper to dominate the lane, which means you don't just slightly win. You win, or you win hard, or you dumpster, or you dominate, something like that. And Viper just kind of went even with the Skywrath. Then Viper got a solo kill on the Sky, which began to help blow the game open. And then the Axe and Warlock. Is it Axe and Warlock? No, it's Axe and the Oracle. The Axe and the Oracle sort of broke even with the Ursa. Like every now and then Ursa would kill someone, and then Ursa would die, and then Ursa would kill someone, Ursa would die. Which doesn't really matter because he was effectively the 5 position, just put in the off lane, which is weird because normally you put your 4 position in the off lane. And it felt like the Axe had won his lane, but just slightly. And then there was a moment where they killed both, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the mid game got blown open, and it was non-stop fights. Huge Golem drop, Warlock, Fatal Bonzes. You've got the Oracle just sort of like roaming around like a little rat snake man, and every time someone gets below 10%, he just pops them instantly. So there's no forgiveness. You only actually have 80 to 90% of your health bar, because the second you go a little bit too low, it's like having a Zeus. As soon as they got a little bit too low, the Oracle just bursted them from nowhere. Kunkka, amazing torrents the whole game. I saw several 4 or 5 man torrents. Decent use of X Mark. You would get good X Marks, but then the whole team would be like, forget that, and then they'd leave. But the X Marks themselves were fine. Viper was exceptional. I mean, he was the frontliner, he was the tank, he was the damage. There were a couple of fights we saw the Dire take without Viper. They looked awful. Every time the Viper was there, it's like, alright, here's a good fight. And thinking back to that tier 2 fight for the Radiant tier 2 tower, Axe gets jumped by the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight forces out a very early BKB by the Axe. Axe then starts diving, runs out of the BKB, Sky ults him, he's just dead. And that looks like it's going to be a really good Radiant fight, because you've got a wasted BKB, a debated hero, and then a dead Axe. That's your 1-pos. There's not many team lineups in Dota 2 that I can think of that if you're taking a fight under the enemy tier 2 and your core 1-pos dies before any damage is dealt to any heroes, I would always favour the other side. But somehow the Viper just rocks up and kills everybody. Then of course you've got the base fight. It looks like a simple and unassuming mid-Rax push. And then out of nowhere, it is a huge skirmish, 5-man torrent, rock drop, fatal bonds onto 4. Everybody starts dying, and then the whole Radiant squad buys back, and then they start dying again. And at that moment, the game is just over. I mean, you can look at the drop. It goes from what we can only estimate to be about a 14,000 gold lead to a 32,000, just like that. Just one base defense failure, and it's just done for. Player net worth, let's have a look at this laning stage. Got that 10 minutes in. Viper 600 ahead of the Sky. Axe about 700 ahead of... He didn't lane against the Wraith King, but the Wraith King I would say is the equivalent 1-pos. You got Dragon Knight Oracle just sort of in there. Kunkka and Warlock up there a little bit. Ogre at the bottom is interesting, because once he bought that Midas and started clicking it, I mean, it's only this far away. Only 15 minutes, and the Ogre is the second most farmed hero on the Radiant side. And then the Ogre's Midas just helps him claw his way up. I mean, if you look at this, that's terrifying. Just the Ogre being the most farmed hero split between 4 Dire heroes. It did not look like a great game for the Radiant squad. Sirius needs to pull something out of the hat, because if they don't win the next 3 games in a row, they have lost the Dota 2 Bot Masters. In a sense, I mean, coming second, getting a silver medal, you go to the Olympics, you get a silver medal, you're not going to be unhappy about it. But you, being serious, 8-0 undefeated coming into this series, you don't expect to be down 2-0 right now. Maybe they're mentally broken, they can't recover, we'll lose a 3rd game. Maybe we can start having a bit of a comeback, whether or not it will fully go, full comeback. 3-0 sweep the other way. There's no way to know, so stick around and I'll see you in the next game. Bye.